There are two types of space, positive and negative space. Positive space is the objects that physically are present in our world. Negative space is the air around those objects. Linear perspective shows how objects get smaller as they move away to a converging vanishing point. With atmospheric perspective, objects fade in the distance. When describing space, you want to explain how the objects use positive and negative space, and also how they use the different types of perspectives. Is it linear perspective or atmospheric perspective that you see within the artwork? Or not at all? Have you ever been to a science museum? Sometimes they have these interesting sculptures. They have these big white columns, and when you look at them, they look like a traditional column. But then when you look in between the columns, in the black area, you see an outline of a person, maybe they're just their face or their entire body. Did you realize I just showed you an example of space? The column is the positive space, and the black outline of the person is the negative space. Now let's apply it. Here are examples of space within artwork. Let's describe how space is used. The two-dimensional pen and ink drawing uses linear perspective. We see a rhythmic grass area converge at the tree. The yellow fence along the side of the grass helps to guide our eyes to the tree. The drawing is filled with many objects, leaving very little negative space. The only negative space is below the branches of the tree, and it is black. The three-dimensional leather mask makes use of positive and negative space. Positive space is the green and purple thinly sculpted leather lines and a gold leather center. The negative space is the cutouts between the sculpted leather lines and also the eye cutouts. There is an even amount of positive and negative space, giving the mask a symmetrical balance. The digital photo of a forest landscape uses linear perspective. As your eye travels diagonally to a vanishing point on the right side of the forest's leafy path, the trees in the distant right start to fade and lighten, suggesting atmospheric perspective. The objects in the image take up a lot of space, not leaving much negative space. In the video, we see a purple shape of a body and an upside down red shape of a body. They represent positive space. The black around the figures represent negative space. As the figures move their arms out to the sides and back in again, they are moving into the negative space, dwelling and occupying the negative space for a split second as they take up the area. The ingredients that represent space is a non-food item, the bowl that holds all the ingredients. The bowl represents positive space, and the curved inside that is empty, waiting to be filled with ingredients, represents negative space. The single marshmallow demonstrates the positive space, and the air around the marshmallow is negative space. We see that the marshmallow is taking up a small area within the bowl.